Hey there everybody, my name is Scott. I am an over-the-road truck driver, and I have been a truck driver for just over a year and a half and have just shy of 200,000 miles under my belt. And I just picked up this today. It is the new Garmin OTR series. You can see here OTR. They just came out with these a couple weeks ago, so wanted to do a very quick unboxing, and then I'll use it for a little bit and then come back and do a pretty thorough review for you guys. Alright, I'm going to do this one-handed here because I'm recording with my phone, but this is the first time I've opened this, so I'm not even 100% sure what it's going to look like. So here you go. Again, this is the 8-inch version. They have a 7-inch and a 10-inch. So here's the unit. Now the previous Dezl series, again, it's a truck specific GPS. It had the last style had a rubber casing around it, if you want to call it. They went away from that this time. This is a nice feeling hard plastic. This here is kind of, I guess, feels like a OtterBox case. The edges, it's a grippy rubber right here and over here. I see a plus minus here, so that's probably volume maybe. And then the magnetic and charging strip right there, the magnetic area. All right, so set that aside. And just like everything else, let's see, we got it's a soft, spongy, some sort of a mount. I would assume that'd be like a dashboard mount where it doesn't slip. I don't know, we'll dig more into that. You're charging cigarette lighter, 10 volt or 12 volt charging wire. And big old windshield suction mount, and the magnetic charging base. Got some screws for something, not sure what that is. That would be the another mounting piece. And looks like the USB sync cord for map updates and stuff, and the typical user manual. All right, that's everything that's in here. All right, got some time and miles under my belt using this thing now, so let's go through it. Turn it on here. It's always gonna give you this agreement you have to agree to. Then you have to decide that these are the dimensions of the vehicle that you're driving. If you want to use it for car navigation, you can do that as well. It'll say that it's not going to treat it as a truck, but it's a trucking GPS, and that's what I got it for. So here it is. So you're going to select that every time, and that's the home screen here. If you want to change the tractor dimensions, you can go back to that. Now, before we get into the map and all that stuff, let's go through the bottom here. It is e-log compatible, but you have to buy this specific Garmin e-log that you plug into have that. I'm not an owner operator, I'm a company driver, so I don't use that option. Same if you're an owner operator, you can keep track of all the maintenance records and the miles in which it was done, and just add record, the mileage that it was done, and it keeps track of that. Okay, trip history. This is the one trip I did today. It's pretty nice that you can pull it up here, look at the exact route that you went on. Let's see, yeah, tap on it, then you can zoom into, the exact route that you took. So that's pretty neat. You can also use the plus and minus buttons to go in and out, or pinch in and out. Alright, you can delete all the records if you want. Shows you the statistics for that trip. And then as you add trips here, it'll add it to the total time, amount of trips, total distance driven. And you can clear all of it at once. Make it easy to do that. Settings. Pretty similar to other GPSs. We'll go through the updates and stuff. Navigation preferences, how it calculates the arrival time and all that stuff. You can do faster time. Let's see. Avoidances. There's all the avoidances you can do. You can do custom avoidances, so you can avoid a specific area. So you can touch that. And then it'll make a box for you to avoid. Confirm it. I don't want to confirm that. Or you can avoid specific roads. Say I want to avoid that industrial park area. Next. Avoid that. And then confirm that area. And it'll avoid that road. So that's pretty convenient. Environmental zones. I'm not 100% sure how that works with what an environmental road is, but I have it set to always ask. Toll roads, always ask, avoid, or always allow. I have it to always allow, because my company pays for toll roads. Restricted mode, that will allow you to change options while you're going down the road. If you don't want it to, you can toggle that on, and it will allow you to touch everything and not be able to change anything. Travel history, if you want it to record where you've been, that I showed you earlier, the trip history, and you can also clear that travel history there. Map and vehicle preferences, you can change the icon that it shows. That's what it's currently set at. You can have the car, a bobtail truck, an arrow, or a pickup truck. One thing, it doesn't allow you to change the color, so that's kind of disappointing. It'd be nice to be able to change that from a red truck to a blue truck, red truck, black truck, whatever. The map view, I have it on 3D. That's what I prefer. You can change it to north always up, or the tracking, how your GPS is tracking, whether it's a turn or whatever, that you're always faced up. Map detail, I like as much detail as possible, so I have it on more. You have the normal and less. Map theme, I haven't played with this, so I'm not 100% sure what all these different country themes are, you know, how it looks, but I have it on Garmin Map Layers. You can change different things that are displayed on the map. Up ahead places could be like truck stops or rest areas, stuff like that will be always on the map. Gets a little bit too cluttered for my liking, so I don't like those always displayed. The 3D buildings is pretty cool. It's not always like that but the bigger cities have it, and you have to be zoomed in to be able to see those 3D buildings. The 3D terrain, you know, you can see the hills and the bigger mountains, and it is fairly accurate and decently to scale. The traffic, there's a Garmin app that you download, and it works. Oh, that's the voice recognition because I said Garmin. Let's get out of that.
Which result would you like?
But if you download their app, it'll connect to your phone's app to this via Bluetooth, and it'll give you live traffic updates. And I did run into that today, and it told me there was going to be a 3 to 5 minute delay, and it gave me the area and how long it's going to take to get to that, and it was fairly accurate. Now the length of time of delay, it seemed to undershoot that, but as far as the location and the start of the slowdown, that was pretty accurate, so that's pretty neat. Popular truck paths, it'll display the most commonly used truck routes, so that's pretty neat too. Any truck parking or trip log, not sure exactly what that is. Auto zoom, as the faster you go and the more distance you have to your next turn, it'll zoom out, and as you get closer to that and slow down, the zoom will automatically zoom in if you have auto zoom enabled, which I do like that. I have all those maps installed, all for North America, so that's good. You can set up the wireless networks, of Bluetooth, driver assistance, driver alerts. You can set up what you get alerted for, whether you exceed the speed limit. Well, you can look at the list there. Now the lateral wind, that's not a live update for live wind conditions, because I ran into a pretty hard rain and high wind squall this afternoon, and it did not give me any heads up or warnings about that. So this lateral wind is for areas that have road signs warning of possible wind, high wind locations ahead. That's what that will warn you of. It can alert you of red light cameras that are registered in the Garmin app. You can set whether it'll automatically show you a zoomed out route preview before starting navigation or not. I do like to see the preview, so I have that toggled on. And you can set it to show your brake reminder your 30-minute break. It'll give you a countdown timer of the 8-hour clock. So as that counts down, you can plan on when to take your 30-minute break. So there, traffic. There it says Garmin Drive app required, which is a little blue icon in the top. That confirms that you are connected via Bluetooth with the app to the GPS. That will gray out when you're not connected. Optimize route. So if you're going down the road and the Garmin finds a more efficient or sufficient route, you can set it to ask you or automatically change it. I have it to manually switch right now, so I want to be in control of that. Traffic alerts. I want to know of any traffic alerts like it told me today. That's what that is. Device, you can change the display, the brightness level, adaptive brightness, just like cell phones do. I have that toggled on, so as the brighter it gets, the brighter the display gets. The darker the outside gets, the dimmer this gets. I have it changed to automatic, so at nighttime it becomes, it changes to the nighttime display, where you can have it full-time night, full-time day. Wallpaper comes into play in the background home screen here, so you can change that if you want to. Let's see. Display, sleep, you can change the time that it goes to sleep, from 15 seconds to 30 minutes. This is I haven't, if you're sitting here and let the screen on for too long and nothing happens, it's like a screensaver. I have it set to that the clock comes on. You change the font size. I will show you this in a little bit. This is one feature of this unit and a 10-inch unit, that it can work in either landscape orientation or portrait orientation. So you can change what happens when you do that, whether it freezes or if it rotates. And you can take a screenshot. You can go through the apps. Storage and USB, there's only 13 gigabytes available on this, and pre-installed out of the box, I haven't added anything to it. 7.38 gigabytes is already used, so half the memory is already used, or storage rather. Battery status, memory. So 2 gigabytes of memory, and half of it's being used just to run the basic stuff. Personal location, security. You can add a security thing so nobody else can get into it if you want. I don't have that. All that's for technical people. Language and input. You can change the language. Now it is there is a tablet side to this where you can go on websites and stuff, so there's a spell checker built into this. You can change a keyboard. hours, date and time. I have it set to automatically update the time zone, or you can manually select it to stay in one time zone. I like military time, so I have 24-hour format on there. Accessibility, captions, magnification, auto rotate, text to speech available. There you can see everything that's on there. And then about the device, all the legal stuff. Model number, you can see the device name, running Android 6.0.1. There you go. Alright, let's run through the apps here real quick. Again, if you're owner-op and you have an e-log, you can do that. IFTA is for all the fuel taxes. You can enter that information for those records when you pay taxes at the end of the year. Photo Live. This is pretty neat. If you want to save a specific road camera, you can do that. Or no, I'm sorry. Photo Live, I think, is you can attach a backup camera to this. I think that's where you would do that. Service history, you already went through that. Traffic, you can look at different cities. If there'd be a backup in, say, Atlanta, which I'm surprised there isn't right now, you'd see some red lines throughout Atlanta there. I'm not 100% sure what all these green dots are. I think it's just locations of towns and bigger towns, and if there's something like a huge amount of traffic or something, maybe they turn red. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. And it wasn't in the manual that I could find. Trip histories, already went through that. Trip planner, if you want to, I use this to set up the trip coming here. You can set up a trip, where you start, your final destination, and any stops that you want in between there. You have to name that trip, and that's my company trip number for this specific trip, so that's why that's named that. So new trip, just select start location, add as many locations as you want along the way, and select your destination. So that's go to different categories if you want to start at any of these places. And then you're gonna have the same menu for each place. Okay, let's get out of there. Truck map. So as you zoom out here, STA, preferred route, that stands for Surface Transport Assistance Act. It was enacted in 1982. Basically, those are the truck approved routes. So the orange one, or the red ones, are the truck approved routes that are most commonly used. You zoom in, let me see, I found a couple TD preferred route, truck driver preferred route. I found some around Atlanta over here. I don't know if you can distinguish on the video here, but you can see this is an orange colored route versus the red I-20. I assume that Garmin collects all this data and they notice that trucks take these routes, so they are truck approved routes. So if you're going to Atlanta or around Atlanta and you notice that the Beltway is mostly red and log jammed, and you're coming up 75 here, and you see that there's a truck route that goes around all that, well, you can plan ahead and use that to get around Atlanta and not sit in the log jam if you're going, rush hour or whatever. And you can just use that to view the regular map if you want to. Like I said earlier, it does have voice command that tells you some ways and some things that it can do and what to say to see it. So let's use this as an example here. Okay, Garmin, find a Chinese restaurant.
Which result would you like?
Number 2.
Going to China Gourmet on Highway 78 East in Jasper, Alabama.
There you go. And it gives you an overview of how long it's going to take, how many miles, what roads, the distance, arrival time. So there you go. That's pretty quick. Alright, let's get back in there. Weather, it'll tell you your local weather there. You can change current location if you want to look at a specific city. Let me go back in here and change that. You can add favorite cities, radar alerts, road conditions. So let's go back here. Road conditions, that would be very helpful in the winter. And there's the legend. So you can see there's some weather around the area that these roads are going to have wet roads right there. So in the winter, those could be either blue or ice or pink. Strong winds, fog, so that's pretty neat. And you can look at the radar, so that should correspond to those wet roads there. So you can see the little dots that have rain that corresponded to where those wet roads should be. So you can stop and play this radar if you want. So that's stopped, or you can play it on, I think it's a 3 or 5 second loop, 3 second loop. Oh yeah, it does connect with your phone, like I said, through the Garmin app, and it'll also display text messages and phone calls on here as well. And that works pretty good. I had a couple of those today. And you can access the where to there tools. Like I said, you could go to use this as a browser. I do not have my hotspot turned on right now, but I did test it, and that does work. So you can go to any website. You can use this as a regular browser. You can set this up. I have this on. I set this up myself. It comes default as just showing this, but I set this up to display all the time zones in America here. It has an alarm, just like on cell phones. It has a counter, a countdown timer, and a stopwatch. If you download anything, that's where that'll be. File manager, if you wanted to upload any pictures from your phone to use as backgrounds, you can do that. You can upload some music. It has a digital version of the owner's manual. You can go through all this and it'll explain all that stuff in detail. Like I said, you can make phone calls. It's just like on a phone. And the speaker's pretty good on this. I was pretty pleasantly surprised. You can connect a rear view camera on this. I believe it does have to be a Garmin rear view camera, and I believe it's $170. was looking at. I'm not sure what other models they have. Go into settings again. That's the same thing we just went through. Smart notifications. It'll show you ones that haven't been read yet. You can see my mom just sent me a text. And system updates. Like I said, I'm not connected to my phone's Wi-Fi or hotspot right now, but I did test that, and when I am connected, there is an update, so I'll go ahead and update that when I'm done making this video. So that's tools and that. All right, so let's, well, again, the home screen there's a smart notification shortcut and the weather shortcut. So you can just generically view the map here, and that still has the route to the Chinese. So I'm going to stop that so that's not showing. All right, the where to. So for example, let's say we want to go to Atlanta, Georgia. So let's tap on that. Search a place. Let's see. Address. Let's go to 123 Main Street. Now it's going to search for all the 123 main streets in Alabama, and that's how it displays it. It lists it in ascending order, and then it shows you on the map where those are located. So number 1, Parrish, Alabama is right there. Summerton, Alabama is right there. And then if you wanted to go to the Townley, which is right there, tap on that, and it gives you those options. You can either go straight there, you can look up information about it, it'll show you exactly where it's at, it'll show you the time, the miles, and how long it'll take to get there. You can look at the weather there if you need to, and if you want to route it, it'll come up with 2 different routes. It'll show you that, and then if you wanted to edit either of those, or if you wanted to change that, you go to edit and say, I didn't want to take that specific route, I wanted to come up here. You can touch that area, and then it'll route up there, and then it'll add that, it'll go through that specific area. So you can choose either one of those. Let's say we want to go the pink route. Just tap on that.
Please drive to highlighted route.
There you go. It started. Alright, so let's cancel that. Alright, so say you want to go to a truck stop. It will pull up all the truck stops in your area there. You can see. Now, one thing I do not like about Garmin, if you watch this or see this, you need to add this. Now, pilots, Flying J's, Loves, they all have specific store numbers. Now, the Rand McNally GPS, when you're searching for this, they will have the store numbers. So like Pilot 356, Pilot 759, Flying J 1053. So if you know you want to go to a specific store number, this does not have that, and I do not like that about this. It's annoying. But it's the same thing if you decide that you want to go to number 5 there, Flying J. It it's the same premise as what we did just a minute ago. Same thing with rest areas. It'll search for rest areas closest to you. Alright, same with truck stops, way stations, truck parking, truck washes, all that. Fuel stations. Now, I'm not 100% sure if all these fuel stations are truck friendly, so if you do that and you look up, I would assume they are because you're under a trucking profile, but I cannot confirm that because some, you know, it has on here a BP. Well, I've never been to a BP that allows trucks or is big enough for trucks, so be very careful of that. You know, even if you look into the info here, auto fuel, so that's an indication to me that that is just for cars, and there's nothing else saying anything about a truck, so be very cautious of that. Okay, you can look up hotels, lodging, bread and breakfast, stuff like that. Hospitals. Yeah, I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on and on. So, okay. So truck services, if you need to get your truck serviced, places that have tires. I'm sitting at a Love's right now, as you can see. So Love's is right here, 1/10 of a mile. Same idea as the other things. Trailer repair, truck repair, parts and equipment, scales. Again, another thing that I don't like this, like with Garmin over Rand McNally. Rand McNally, you can search for specific cat scale scales. This does not. This will pull up places that have scales, but not necessarily cat scales. And I only like using cat scales because if you weigh at a cat scale and you get pulled over by DOT and you have that cat scale receipt, you can show that you're legal, and if they try to, you know, blah, 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 you know, it can save your butt. Even if you search for cat, it doesn't pull up anything because it's looking for a specific truck location with cat in it, not a cat scale. So again, Garmin, if you're watching this, you need to change that. Add cat scales to this. Truck locations, truck stops. You know, we already went through that. That shows all the. Now I did look at Trucker Path and correspond this with that, and they're fairly accurate. So, say Dodge City Fuel Stop is on Trucker Path as well as this. So you can see there are five spaces there for truck parking. Okay, you can save different locations. For those of you wondering, I just put in a dummy address for my home location for this, for demonstration purposes for this video, so don't think that that's my actual home address. But you can do that. Look into recent. As you can see, I've been playing around with it in a bunch of different places. Makes it easy to go back to the same places that you've already been. You can program home and hit that and it'll go straight home.
Please drive to highlighted route.
This is pretty neat. It shows you that there's going to be a 6 to 8% uphill grade and a 6 to 8% downgrade along that route. So you can plan to adjust your arrival time and whatever accordingly. TripAdvisor, it's a partnership with Garmin, I guess. You can enter coordinates. Now this is one thing I learned straight out of the box. Okay, if you go to enter coordinates here, it will be it will default to this format here. Okay, now so many people use Google Maps and Trucker Path. Well, in both Trucker Path and Garmin, if you find the coordinates of a place, it is not in this format. It is in this format. So you have to come in here to the settings, change it to that format, save, and then you can enter your coordinates. Now this will only allow you to put in so many coordinates. So sometimes when you pull up a coordinate on Google Maps, it'll have more numbers than it will allow you to enter. Well, enter in the amount of numbers that Garmin will allow you, and leave off the rest of the numbers that Garmin has or Trucker Path have, and it'll be accurate. Now the negative, it doesn't allow you to add a negative in here like most coordinates have, but all you do is just put 0 in place of it. So 0 would be the negative. Okay, so I had already put that in there, so let's view that on the map. Actually, that's where I'm at right now. So it'll show you where it is on the map. So let's just change this for a second. North 37 point, I'm just putting in random numbers here. Next. And then west, negative or 0, 103. I'm sorry. Next, west 087. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see where that puts us. So that puts us right there. I have no idea where that's at. Up in Ohio. Or no, Kentucky. So you can do that the same thing. You can look at routes, you can look at the weather there, you can go straight there, you can save it in your saved addresses. So that's how coordinates work. You can look up a specific intersection, change the date. I'm in Alabama, so that's why it comes up automatically. Foursquare, I haven't played with that yet, so I'm not sure exactly what that's at. You can look up fuel prices. You can change that to, obviously if you're using this for trucking and you're an owner operator, you're going to want to change that to diesel. I am not 100% sure how accurate this is or how often it's updated, but I would hope it's fairly often and accurate. But again, I'm not 100% sure, and I cannot see the price of the Loves I'm at right now because it's angled away from me. I'm sorry, but $239 is what it says right now. And you can add shortcuts. Set home location, restore. And you can reorder this. So just long press on any of these and reorder it the way you want it. So you say you want that up there, just change it. So that's pretty neat. Alright, so that's that. Alright. Garmin did update the window suction mount. It does seem pretty solid. I have always, since I've been driving, had my GPS set on the dash here because they are expensive. The specific unit is $600, the 10-inch is $800, and the 7-inch is $400. After tax, out the door, I think it was $662. So they are not cheap in the slightest. So I do see some guys have them mounted up here or up here in the corner, where if you're going down the road and hit a big bump, there's always that chance of it falling off that magnet. Well, I don't ever want to take that chance with this expensive unit, so I've always just gotten in the habit of resting him on the dash here. But like I said, it does seem like the suction cup is a little more solid versus the previous Garmin, and the magnet does seem stronger this year, or this version. So you may be able to get away with putting it in the corner, but don't hold me to that. You know, don't hold me accountable if you do take that chance, and don't comment saying, well, he said it was going to be fine and then it broke. No, don't take that chance. Do what I'm doing. Put it on the dash. Unless you just have that kind of money laying around and don't care about it. Now remember these buttons I showed you earlier on the back? That is for volume up and down. You can see up top there. So that's a nice shortcut. Alright, so let's stop that. Okay, let's go back to the map. And all this stuff that I showed you, you can do in portrait mode. So let's go back there. That's how that looks in portrait mode. And you can go through everything like we just did, and it's all in portrait mode. Weather. Okay. Now on here, there is a way to toggle preferred trucking routes. See the little purple thing there? Let's see what recent. Let's go to somewhere a little further away. Okay, let's go to Covington. Let's just go there.
Please drive to highlighted route.
Okay, again, it has the overview of everything. So this little button here, and if you can see, there's purple highlighted roads. That is, those are preferred truck routes that you can see. So as you're going down there, you can see different roads that will be highlighted purple. If you want to see that, keep that highlighted. If you don't, just toggle that off. Okay, now let's go through it. This way first. Okay, all of these are customizable in that you can display any of these options here. So I'll scroll through it so you can see what all is available. Any of these can be displayed on this button that I just touched. Okay, and that's that. Same thing with this button. Any of these, and this is the same list, can be displayed there. Any of those, same list, can be displayed there. So those three can be customized. The speed cannot be customized, but it will pull up a trip summary. It'll show you the location or the direction that you're driving, the trip data, sunset, moving average, temperature. All of these are customizable as well. So you can change these 4 blocks here to all these different things. And you can X out of that. These 3 buttons are your shortcut buttons. I have them set to weather. It'll pull up and show you the, there, you can see the radar in the area that you're driving, temperatures, and the wind direction. You can see a blue arrow, so it's north wind, actually no wind right now. So exit out of that. This is the up ahead tray. Shortcuts shows you the things that are coming up on your route. So I'm not moving, that's why this is having trouble finding that, I guess. And this is the upcoming turn by turn. Okay, so you hit those 3 buttons and it pulls up this screen. You can look at all the cities ahead on your route, and that's all. It's not scrollable. It just shows you those. Elevation. This is pretty neat. It's not 100% accurate. I was playing with it on the way here. It gives you a general idea of the climbing. You can zoom in and out. So as you're going down the road, in theory it works, but it's not detailed. So I had it all the way zoomed in, and where there were up, it's supposed to be going uphill on the map. I was actually going downhill in reality. So it's, like I said, it's not 100% accurate. So let's get out of that. Trip data is the same thing we just looked at. Brake planner. That's what that looks like. It shows you how many hours you've driven, time to the required brake. You can pause and stop the timer, resume it, reset it. Weather is the same thing we already looked at. Up ahead is that same shortcut I had set there. Turns. Traffic, like I said, was pretty accurate. There is no traffic reported ahead. In this screen, it will show you how far distance-wise to the slowdown, the time to the slowdown, and how long the slowdown is supposed to add to your overall trip. You can also look at the overview to see your trip, and it'll show you red lines, yellow lines for traffic. Now, it does not automatically route you around traffic, so that would be up to you to figure out a detour if needed. You can change the volume, you can edit the route, you can shape the route, add shaping, and that's very similar to what I showed you earlier. So say you want to go through that area up there. Recalculate. Then it will show you the route up through that area. It will also tell you that it's going to add 56 minutes to the trip, and it's 38 additional miles. And you can just go ahead and go, or you can delete it, and it'll delete that and go back to what you had. You can detour by distance, and what that is if you're driving down the road and you want to detour, or if you see that there's something that you want to go around, and you want to avoid the next 2 miles, you can do that, and then it'll find a way around the next 2 miles, and it won't let you.
Please drive to highlighted route.
Won't let you do that, so it's actually going to try to make me go back. Yeah. So let's get out of that edit route. And then you can add a detour by road, specific road on your route if you don't want to go on that road or that section of road. So say I don't want to go on Highway 269 South. It's going to route me around that, and you can select that, and
please drive to highlighted route.
there you go. Alright, or you can stop the navigation, and there's where you set up those 3 buttons. Back here, set up these 3 buttons, go there, and then you can reorder them or go through that list right here and change those buttons. Alright, so again, that's landscape mode, and then you can do all that in portrait mode. It has the same functionalities, same everything. It's just a different orientation. So as you're sitting here driving, I wouldn't want that because it's too tall. If I wanted that orientation, I would probably put it in the corner here, because that hood mirror is not necessarily used all the time and less important than that one. So I don't want this impeding up here. So I'm gonna always keep it in landscape mode. But just so you know, you do have that option. All right, I think that's it. Gone through everything. So I appreciate you guys watching. I know it was a long video, but I wanted to be as detailed as possible because, like I said, this is a huge investment. You're spending a lot of money on this, and me personally, I use YouTube as a tool to do my research on electronics and stuff like that. So I wanted to be one to provide you with as much information as I could, and I hope it was useful. I hope it was you found value out of this. If you did, please hit that like button, throw a comment down below. Have you used it? Have you tried it? Do you prefer it? Do you prefer Rand McNally? Let me know. Let other viewers know as well. If you didn't like this review, give me a thumbs down. I don't care. Just interact with the video, so the YouTube algorithm can get it out to other people, so people can get this information. Like I said, it's a brand new unit, so let me know. All right, guys, talk to you later.